Before you go vertical, you must first build a horizontal base with bridge hangs, and it all starts on 2 arms and 2 legs. That's 4 points of contact for the utmost stability. Now you can do this on parallel bars or use a suspension trainer or gymnastics rings. The choice is yours. For best results, mix between the two. There are 2 types of hangs you can mix between: the passive and the active positions. Passive means you're stretched out at the bottom. Active means you're contracted by pulling the shoulder blades down and back as far as you can and really arcing out. The shrug is where you mix between both positions for reps or time. A suspension trainer or gymnastics rings allows you to regress the exercise or make it easier as much as you want. The higher your body angle, the easier it is. It also allows you to work each arm independently to strengthen imbalances between sides. The beauty of bodyweight training is being able to quickly make it easier or harder without changing the actual load. In this case, we go from knees bent, feet flat on floor, to legs straight, feet on floor, to legs straight, feet elevated, going from easiest to hardest. If you're using a suspension trainer or rings, you can adjust the straps as needed and then walk yourself down to a lower body angle. The flatter your body is to the floor, the more difficult the movement is. Adjust it as much as needed to get the intensity you're looking for while maintaining good form and technique, good breathing mechanics, and again, getting all the way flat is a real challenge. In terms of hand positioning, I really want to encourage you to have a very relaxed, smooth grip. If you squeeze the bar too hard, you'll fatigue faster, not be able to hang as long, and be prone to elbow issues. In terms of actual grip, the hammer grip, palms facing neutral positioning will be the most joint friendly. That being said, I encourage you to switch up your grips as much as possible, whether it be from set to set or day to day for best results. The wider and overhand style gripping will challenge your stability more, where the closer and underhand style will challenge your mobility more. From there, we progress from 4 to 3 points of contact with the bridge hang on 2 arms and only 1 leg to increase the stability demands. Now, just like the previous variation, you want to start with the knees bent at 90 degrees before straightening them and then eventually elevating your feet for the biggest challenge. You might be wondering, why am I worrying about the hips during an upper body program? But in reality, the pelvis attaches to your lumbar spine or your lower back, so it does dictate spinal positioning. And if you want to max out your hang's potential, you need to really focus on proper pelvic positioning and strength. You can use parallel bars or a suspension trainer. Now, the suspension trainer adds a whole new level of instability. You really have to fight to squeeze the glute of your support leg and prevent that rotation at the hip and spinal level. Really pull your shoulders down and back and root yourself down into that grounded foot. And even at a high incline, it's super challenging, maybe even tougher to stabilize the spine than the parallel bar option flat on the floor. I'm a big believer in the ball squeeze. Now, squeezing a medicine ball between your legs or even a foam roller or a yoga brick is going to allow you to enhance pelvic floor activation, strengthen your adductors, and give you more overall hip and core stability. You'll get more out of the exercise. And again, you can march or hold 1 leg at a time. You definitely want to master the bent knee version with feet on the floor before progressing to legs straight and then legs straight, feet elevated. In particular, focus on maintaining 90-degree angles in the legs, maximum hip extension of the support leg to get the glutes going, and then really tuck that knee to the chest to max out hip flexor activation of the top leg, but also hip flexor stretch in the bottom leg. The straight leg version will definitely increase the high hamstring work and the overall demand of the movement, so be careful. If you're looking for an even greater challenge, try elevating your feet on a stability ball or a medicine ball. This will make it much harder to stabilize with additional lateral and rotational forces of the rolling ball. So really drive the legs down hard. The next progression is the bridge hang performed on 1 arm and 2 legs. This is much more challenging than the single leg option because your lower body is much stronger than your upper body. So you got to fight hard to stabilize. When using the parallel bars, you can mix between a hammer or an overhand grip. If using a TRX suspension trainer, here's how you take it into single handle mode. Now, this is especially helpful because you can unload your body weight as much as you want with the higher body angles because the parallel bars might be too tough. Be sure to widen your feet for both options because that's going to give you a more stable base of support in single arm mode. I also love the TRX for the shrugging component. You can do it on the parallel bars too. But a higher body angle sometimes allows you to get better form and technique. And you can see here, there's even still a slight bend in the elbow I want to try to avoid here. I want totally straight arm when doing this to drive the movement only through the scapula. You can either hold one arm at a time or alternate. Now, the alternating option is less of a strength challenge because you can mix between arms. One rests while the other works, but it is a little bit more unstable, whereas holding one arm at a time will really challenge your stamina. If the parallel bar option is too hard, you can modify with an uneven towel grip or band grip. The towel will be easier because the band has more bendability to it, but either way, keep as much of your weight as possible onto the bar hand and assist only as needed with the towel or band. By the way, you can also set up for inverted rows or the hanging bridges using a power rack or a Smith machine. Just set the bar height to waist level. You can do all the drills we've done on parallel bars and also the TRX suspension trainer or gymnastics rings, particularly great at commercial gyms. The final stability progression is moving to just one arm and one leg, opposite arm and leg in fact. You gotta fight hard to stabilize because it's only 2 points of contact, a real core challenge. The hardest part with this variation is just initially getting into position and starting your set, so it can be pretty frustrating because of that massive anti-rotation stability challenge. The bar might wiggle on you, your body's gonna be tilting and turning as you try to fight to keep your shoulders square and hips fully extended. That's okay, that's part of the process here. This also might be the most challenging core stability exercise in the program because the horizontal nature of the movement has you directly working against gravity to stabilize the spine. I definitely recommend starting one side at a time before alternating, even if the sets are as short as 5 to 10 seconds per side, because you can actually alternate sides for a 2-minute work period to kind of get in the total time under tension you're looking for. And again, if it's too tough, use TRX or rings at a high angle and build that entry-level rotary stability. Now it's time to play with some flexed arm variations. The goal here to create isometric strength at key joint angles. Option A, arms flexed at 90 degrees or the middle of the row, and option B, arms fully flexed at the top of the row. These are 2 angles that will be the most challenging over the course of the movement. You can also mix between static versus pulsing sets. Static means you're holding it isometrically where you'll build strength at that exact joint angle plus 15 degrees above and below. The pulsing sets are more dynamic in nature. You'll get a more precious pump and burn. I love both. You gotta use both. If it's too tough or you can't hold for very long, you can modify with TRX or rings at a high angle, but also understand this is an open chain variation. Your hands have to fight to stabilize in free space. If you're feeling frisky, you can also try the isometric row ladder, where you hold for 1 second at the top of the first rep, and then you add 1 second every subsequent rep. So then 2-second hold at the top, 3, 4, and 5. You climb that ladder as high as you can, or you just stop when the timer goes off. But this provides such a unique blend of strength, stability, and stamina, plus the extended time under tension to both build muscle and bulletproof the joints. And finally, if you absolutely want to rock your world and blow up your back and forearm muscles like a balloon, you can try the 1-rep ASAP technique, or as slow as possible. This is a 60-second set that I sped up to fit for the purposes of this video, but I'm going as slow as I can up and down, working 1 inch at a time, adding strength, stability, and stamina to every angle for movement mastery. Not that you'll need to, because this is a tough sequence of movements, but if you want to make it harder, again, you can go from knees bent, feet on floor, to legs straight, feet on floor, to legs straight, feet elevated. You can also mix between some shorter duration, higher intensity sets with legs straight, feet elevated, and some longer duration, lower intensity sets with knees bent, feet on floor. Now let's strengthen the hands, fingers, and forearms with a variety of gripping challenges. A common saying in bro speak is if you can't grip it, you can't lift it, or in the case of the 28-day hangs challenge, you can't hold it. So grip is something you have to really focus on training, especially as you get older. Research actually suggests that a stronger grip can be a predictor of you living longer, so you can find more longevity, besides the fact that you will excel at things like hangs, carries or farmer's walks, or deadlifting variations. The more traditional gripping style of wrapping the thumb all the way around the bar and squeezing gives you the biggest strength and power potential, but can also lead to over-gripping, elbow pain, and fatiguing faster. Wrapping the thumb under or alongside the bar can relax the grip a bit and prevent some over-pressuring, while also giving you plenty of stability. My favorite option, especially for longer duration hangs, is to wrap the thumb on top of the bar or use a smooth monkey grip. It also really helps you initiate the movement through the shoulder instead of the elbow. Bar thickness is another variable you can play with. Thinner bars may be easier to hold on to, but they tend to cause a little more hand discomfort and callousing, whereas thicker bars are harder to hold, but tend to increase overall arm activation and not beat up your hands as much. These fat grips you can add on to bars, whether it be row bars or pull-up bars or even your TRX handles. The towel grip increases dexterity and hand health, and it can also be used as a self-assistance tool to build up to single arm holds. The lower you grab on the towel, the harder it is. And a thick band can be used in a similar fashion, though it's easier to grip than the towel. Its elastic nature creates a bit of an oscillation effect, adding instability. The term game changer is definitely overused these days, but I truly mean it when I say that a rotating grip is a game changer for your overall shoulder health, mobility, and performance. All we're doing is keeping the arms completely straight and mixing between an underhand and overhand grip. That internal-external rotation will feed all of your pulling strength and performance. You've got to commit to it. Now it's time to freestyle and have some fun with movement challenges. Now we built that stability base with all of those static isometric holds, but now adding this dynamic movement makes it a lot more fun and engaging. Hanging bridge walkouts and or marches. Now the walkout portion has you going from the bent knee to the straight-legged position in very small increments, giving you a complete hamstring workout, both the high and low hamstrings, because the hamstrings are active on hip extension and knee flexion. But we're doing this with that hang position. We can add the marches as well to get the hip flexors going, extra challenge for the glutes and stability, combine the two, and even add some inverted rows into it for a complete backside workout you can do anytime, anywhere. Another killer option is the hanging straight-legged hip extension, either with a parallel bar to elevate the feet or high box, bench, or step. The higher the elevation, the better, because you get more range of motion at the hip and you shift more of the load onto your upper body. So it really challenges you in a big way. Rolling or sliding leg curls are my favorite hamstring exercise because of how low stress it is on the spine and the fact that it works both functions of the hamstrings, knee flexion, and hip extension. Why not do it while hanging from a bar? Now, if you don't have a ball or you just want to mix it up, you can also do hanging body curls. You need a nice, good, stable box or bench, and you're actually now pulling yourself towards the box or bench. This is actually much more challenging, especially the higher you have the box. It really gets those hamstrings hard. You can add in rows. It's such an awesome backside builder. If you're looking to improve hip and spinal extension, strengthen your neck, and increase your overall sexual prowess, look no further than the hanging neck bridge. This exercise is typically done by combat athletes looking to thicken and strengthen the neck and also protect the brain against blows, but they typically do it in free space without the hand assistance. Start here.